Hi there, it's Farmer Jay and welcome back to Dairy Air Farms. Today we're going to talk about a problem every farmer has, every farmer wishes they didn't have, and something every farmer deals with differently. That's weeds. Now in Farming Simulator 22, weeds are a little bit different than Farming Simulator 19. In Farming Simulator 19, weeds would only grow when a field was planted. In Farming Simulator 22, weeds will grow both in planted fields as well as unplanted fields. So let's take a look around the map and I'll show you what I mean. First, this field had a rapid cultivation and I dealt with the weeds by spraying them after they grew because they were 75%. As you can see, even spraying still left me with a 50% weed problem. So I decided to look at some other fields. Field 37. What I've done with this field is I've cultivated it and I've sprayed it with what a farmer would call pre-emergent herbicide. Field 35 was cultivated, as you can see from the rocks, and now I'm rolling it to see if I can get a difference between rolling and unrolling state. Let's take a look at this field. This field was cultivated with a quick cultivator. This one here. So the cultivation process went really quickly, and then I planted it with oats. And sorghum in the other half of the field. I left a little gap down the middle right here, as you can see, so I could tell the difference. These fields here had a regular heavy cultivation. Those are fields 28 and 29. Field 31 and 27 were plowed. Fields 46 and 47 also had a heavy cultivation, or I used a heavy cultivator, I guess I should say, to explain it better. And field 45 was a field of sugar beet. Now I have to remove the plowing state, so rather than using a moldboard plow like I did in field 31, I'm using a subsoiler. So I'm going to let that continue. And we'll see if, as you can see, it's removing the plowed state, just like field 31. But we'll see if there's a difference between the weeds, between subsoiling and actual moldboard plowing. By moldboard plowing, I mean the traditional plow. the one that literally digs into the ground and turns it completely over. We'll let this finish. So I'll do half this field here. Like I told you, 35 I was using a roller on. We'll do half the field. I'm going to stop it in a second. There we go. So I'm going to leave it there for now. And we'll see if there's a difference in the part of the field that actually got rolled and the part of the field that didn't. So we've got a number of variables set up, so it should give us a good idea of what works and what doesn't work. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward to tomorrow. I don't have seasonal growth on, so everything should reach a growing state in one day. Or a different growing state in one day, depending on the crop. As far as I can tell so far from my research, the crop type has no difference in how quickly weeds appear. What makes a difference is in the type of either cultivation or the pre-treatment of the field. So, give me a couple of minutes and I'll bring you guys back in. I also apologize for the time of day that this is being filmed at. Excuse me. It took me most of the day to set this up, get the fields, various different levels of cultivation and sowing, so that we could probably have an accurate test. All right. On that note, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Well, it's tomorrow, and it's pouring rain. As a matter of fact, did you know tomorrow never comes? It's always today. Just a little bit of trivia for you. Okay, so here we are in field 37, which for the most part was sprayed with herbicide. And as you can see, there are no weeds. This field, which we rolled, seems to have made no difference at all. So while it's supposed to increase yield, rolling does nothing for weed control. Yep, it's all the same. This field here, 50, was also sprayed with a pre-emergent. And it appears to be fine. This one was just cultivated. And as you can see, it's 50% weeds. Subsoiling seems to work, just the same as plowing. We'll look at the plowed field. And the plowed field has absolutely no weeds. Field 33 is 50% weeds. That was done with a regular cultivator. And we'll just move over to the next field. This field was done with a, what do they call it in the store? I call it a light cultivator, I guess, but shallow cultivator. And this is at 75%. This field was just cultivated. Nothing else done to it. As you can see, the weeds are growing. And this field was regularly cultivated. And the weeds are only at 50%. So the field that concerns us the most is the field that we used a shallow cultivator in, because the weeds are at 75%. Now, this is the field because it was at 75% and my basic weeder didn't do anything. I sprayed it. So let me take the basic weeder over to the 75% field and I'll show you. I'll be right back. Alright, so first we're going to look at field 36, which has a 50% weed stage right now. And if we turn on weeds, we can see that this is effectively getting rid of it. This is my favorite weeder, which is the Trefler TS1520/M3. I like this weeder because it covers a lot of ground. It's got a 15.2 working width, and it doesn't require a lot of horsepower. As you can see, we're using a small tractor on it, and it's having no problems. Alright. Moving on to the next field, which is field 30, which has got a 75% weed growth because it was only done with a light cultivator. And as you look, we're making absolutely no headway at all on our weeds. Let's get out and check behind. We've still got a 50% weed growth rate. It's cut it down from 75 to 50. So it's made a little bit of a difference, but our ultimate goal is to have no weeds at all. So we'll start this weeder working on the next field. This field is 50%. So as you saw with the previous field, this weeder should have no problems dealing with it. Yep, there you go. See, we're down to 0% weeds. Alright, so we have two options with this field 30, which is at 75% weed growth. We know the standard weeder didn't do anything, so let's try the hoe weeder. And I keep blocking it, I apologize. And it's bringing the weed state down to 0. Now, there are a couple of things to note about the hoe weeder. The Traffler that I talked about, the one I prefer, is only 1.7 tons and covers 15.2 meters. The hoe weeder, and most people don't recognize this one because it's all in the weeder category, is the Einbach Chopstar 5-90 row guard. Now let's have a quick look and see if we can see the difference in the store. As you can see, the standard weeder just has basic tines that is designed to run between the rows and pull up the weeds. The Chopstar, if we get in there, actually has blades on it, little hoes, and those will dig into the ground a little bit deeper, and they will actually get rid of the weeds in a more advanced state. So, that's how you get rid of more advanced weeds. The hoe guard still won't work if you let your weeds get to 100%. You will need to spray, and sadly, you will be left with a 50% weed ratio in your field even after spraying. So what are our options? Let's have a look. Well, the row guard weeder is 9 meters and costs $51,000. The Traffler is 15.2 meters and costs $45,000. At the end of the day, it all boils down to how you want to cultivate your fields. The shallow cultivators have a much greater working width than do the regular cultivators, which are anywhere, can range up to 8 meters. They require more horsepower, of course, but they'll give you a 50% weed growth as opposed to a 75% weed growth. The disadvantage is you're only covering 8 meters versus almost 16 with the big shallow cultivators, so you can cultivate twice as many acres at once with a shallow cultivator than you can with a heavy cultivator. The last question is spraying. You've already got a tractor, so let's have a look at the cost of sprayers. The basic sprayer covers 24 meters, and if you can add a front tank to it, so you're looking at about $40,000. So you're looking at about the cost of the Traffler and a little less than the Chopstar. However, you also have to factor in that if you want to spray pre-emergent herbicide isn't cheap. herbicide will cost you $2,400 for 2,000 liters. It'll do a couple of fields, and then you need to refill it. In the long run, the weeder will save you money because you don't have to keep buying herbicide. So, that's our look at weeders and sprayers and how to control weeds. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And in the meantime, remember to keep it between the rows and keep it weed free. Thanks for watching.